Let's welcome in the newest College Football Hall of Famer, Tim Couch, our QB1.
Congratulations.
Tim,
buddy! Thank you, guys. I appreciate it, man. It's an unbelievable honor to be in the College Football Hall of Fame. Obviously going in with an incredible group of players, with Randy Moss and Larry Fitzgerald and Julius Peppers and Warwick Dunn, and just completely honored to have my name mentioned with those guys and just blown away by it, honestly.
If only you had those two receivers to throw to when you were playing for the Browns. Huh? And that running back. Damn.
Yeah, man. I had some great players at Kentucky. Craig Yeast was my main receiver. When he graduated, he was the leading receiver in the history of the SEC. He ended up getting drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals that year. I tried to get Cleveland to pick him. They said he was a little bit too small, but the guy was a great football player. The running back was Anthony White, who was a great dual threat back. We could line him up at wide receiver. He was great running routes and catching passes and that type of offense. So had some great players around me, a great coaching staff, and Hal Mumme. Mike Leach was my offensive coordinator. So just truly grateful and honored to be going in, and thankful for those teammates and coaches that I had an opportunity to play with.
Yeah, well said. Very well said. How do you look at this game, Tim?
Yeah, I think you guys are all over it. I think I love the matchup. I really do. I think Cleveland really matches up with these guys. Obviously, they put it on them pretty heavily a few weeks ago, and that was without CJ Stroud, and it's going to be a little different, but I think you still have the same type of mentality. You get up in these receivers' faces. I think our DBs can lock these guys down. You put pressure on CJ Stroud. You switch up the looks quite a bit on him. You don't just line up in man coverage. You show him man, play zone, show blitzes, drop into zone coverages, those kind of things to confuse a rookie quarterback. This is his first start in the playoffs, and that's a big deal. He had a great season, not taking anything away from him, but this is a completely different animal going to the playoffs. The intensity picks up. The decision making, every throw, every possession, every play is so critical in these playoff games, and it's up to the Browns to create some turnovers, confuse CJ Stroud, never let him get comfortable in this game, get the hits on him, switch up the coverages and the blitzes, and just keep him guessing the entire game.
Tim, to your point, rookie quarterbacks making their first NFL playoff start against quarterbacks that are not rookies win less than a third of the time. There's a reason for that, right? There's a new level of pressure, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. You're talking about a guy like Flacco, who's probably, I don't know what the number is, he's probably started 15 or 20 playoff games 15, in his career. Obviously, it's 15. Okay, yeah, he's won a Super Bowl. The guy's been through it. So this will not faze Joe Flacco whatsoever. This is just another game to him. He understands that there's a lot of emotions going into these type of games. And I think, the biggest thing, that you take into a game like this is once the emotions settle down and the game starts, you're just playing football, and it's about the little things. It's about execution. It's about technique. It's about the things that got you there, and the emotions really don't play into it. So a lot of the younger guys, it takes them a while to figure that out. But Joe's an experienced guy who's been in this league a long time, been in this situation many times over. So he's going to feel comfortable. This defense is going to feel really comfortable. They're going to do their thing. They're going to play man coverage. They're going to get after the quarterback. And hopefully Joe and Amari can have another game like they had a few weeks ago against this team.
Tim, when you talk about the offense and you're a quarterback, how does it help you when you are breaking tendencies? A lot of what the Browns have done with Joe Flacco has been about breaking tendencies on first down, play action, and different things like that. And it just seems like when you can break tendencies, things start to open up a little bit because the defense is guessing a little bit. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think, guys spend so much time in the film room in preparation for these games and trying to get an understanding and a feel for what you're doing. And you show them one thing and make them think that you're giving them exactly what they want to see, and you do something different off of it, and they're just not prepared for it. So wrinkles off of, certain formations, and that you have a heavy tendency in run or pass, and just switching those up can really lead to some easy completions and some big throws and some chain movers, some first downs, those type of things. So it's very critical to self-evaluate throughout the season of we're really heavy in this formation with the run or the pass or the play action, and to really switch things up and have some little wrinkles off of that. Some bootlegs, some reverses, some whatever it is. Some shots down the field, and it keeps the defense guessing and it makes them question themselves of all the film study and preparation they've done all week of preparing for you and your formations and your shifts and motions and personnel groupings. It just keeps them on their heels a little bit.
Tim, you mentioned Amari, and we were talking earlier about obviously he had a huge game against Houston the first time around and expect the defense to pay close attention to him. Joe throws it in double coverage. He's throwing it into triple coverage. As the quarterback, what makes a good throw into double coverage? When is a good time to do it, and when is not?
Well, I think it's all about, it's situational. It depends on, where you're at in the game. Do you need to take a chance? What's the score? A lot of things factor into it. And then, it's each quarterback's a little different. You got guys like, Mahomes or, a Flacco or somebody who has a huge arm who can fit throws into tighter spaces than a lot of other quarterbacks can. So Joe's going to try things that other quarterbacks wouldn't attempt. He knows his game. He's been in this league a very long time. He knows the throws he can get away with and the ones he can't. And it's all about anticipation. If you're going to throw a ball into tight coverage where there's it's double coverage, but you can still fit it in there, it has to be, you have to throw the ball with anticipation, on time, with accuracy. And the ball has to be in a great location, those type of things. And Joe knows all those things. He's done it forever. So it's, every quarterback's a little different. Each person's going to take some more chances than the next guy. But, Joe knows his game. He's going to go out and do what he's been doing his whole career.
Tim, the Browns, since Joe Flacco has taken over, have been extremely pass-heavy. They went from being a team that ran the ball 23rd or 8th most, I think it was, on first down, to being the team that throws the ball most often on first down. They were more balanced against the Jets, but overall, they've been lopsided passing. Should they stick with that because that's what's worked, or do they have to be more balanced to win in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I would say you stick with what you've been doing. They've been so successful in creating big plays in this offense in the passing game. And Joe's first down for a quarterback is awesome to throw the ball on. Quarterbacks really love throwing the ball on first down because you're not getting those exotic blitzes and those disguised coverages. Normally you're getting a single high safety. You're getting a lot of one-on-one matchups on the outside. Teams bring that extra player down in the box to defend against the run. So it really opens things up on the outside for the quarterback. It paints a really clear picture for him. So I would anticipate the Browns continue to just do what they've been doing. Joe's been on a hot streak the last several weeks of putting, throwing for over, 300 yards in all those games. Amari's been hot. I think they continue to do the same thing. You got to mix in the run, but I think you kind of, use the pass to open up the run in this situation where you come out and you take shots at them early and soften that defense up. And then on first down, where they say, well, these guys are taking shots on first down, they're playing two high safeties, then you can sneak in some runs and you get your 4, 5, 6 yard gains on first down and you stay ahead of the chains that way. So I anticipate the Browns just continue to do what they've been doing.
Tim, Houston has tape from the last game. They've looked at it, and number 2 jumps out of the film all over the place. So they've been looking at this for the last week, trying to devise a game plan to stop him. During your career, and I don't want to use divisional opponents because you're so familiar with divisional opponents, but the second time you play a team in a season, and that might happen only if you're in the playoffs or a divisional opponent, what are some things that Houston will try to do defensively to make sure that Amari doesn't set another record on them?
Yeah, well, they're just going to have to, really get the safety cheated over to his side, double teaming Amari, making someone else beat him. I expect David Njoku to have a huge game this week. I think he's going to be a big target because they're not going to sit back and let Amari Cooper get 265 yards or whatever he had in the last game. They're just, this is the NFL. They're going to take it away. No matter if they've put 3 guys over there, they're not going to let Amari do that again. I still expect Amari to come out and have a good game. Not obviously to that level, but I think he'll get his touches, he'll get his catches. But they're going to try and take him away. They're going to roll coverage to his side. Like I said, they're going to keep an eye on him and not let him get behind the secondary like he did so many times in that first game. So other guys are going to have to step up. If they're going to play deep over top of Amari, then the underneath routes or the crossing routes, the underneath routes tight end, like I said, Njoku will be wide open in this game. He's going to get a lot of touches, a lot of looks. So just the other guys have to step up and pick up the slack. If they're going to try and take away that one guy, then that's opening up opportunities all over the field for other guys.
Got the Browns winning, Tim?
Yeah, I really feel good about this game. I do. I love the matchup. Like I said earlier, I think our DBs against their wide receivers, I think is a huge advantage for us. I think we can lock up, get in their face, man-to-man coverage, make it tough, disrupt the timing of the offense, make it tough for those wide receivers to get off the line of scrimmage, make CJ Stroud hold the ball an extra beat so Myles Garrett and those guys, Zadarius Smith, can get home and get pressure on the quarterback. So I think ultimately the Browns win this game. Joe continues to play as he's played the last several weeks. And, I think the Browns get a huge playoff victory on the road.
It'd be nice. Let's get on to Baltimore if that's what happens. Tim, thanks.
Absolutely.
We'll talk next week.
Thank you,
Hopefully
guys.
we're talking about a matchup.
That'd be great. Sounds good.
All right.
Go Browns.
Hall of Famer.
All right, see you guys.
Tim Couch.
Bye.
It's got a ring to it, by the way.